Want to speak real Russian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at RussianPod101.com.
Hello everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for this lesson is, how hard is it to learn Russian? The Foreign Service Institute, or FSI, created a scale to show how long it takes to get to professional level proficiency in speaking a foreign language for a native English speaker. Russian is a Category 3 language. That means it has significant differences from English. It takes a bit longer to learn than, say, Spanish or Italian, which have very similar writing systems to English. According to this scale, Russian takes approximately 44 weeks or 1,100 hours of study, but this will of course vary from person to person. The hardest part about Russian is grammar. There are many factors you have to consider when making a sentence, such as gender, number, suffixes and prefixes. With nouns, we have to be mindful of how they decline depending on the 6 Russian cases. With verbs, you have to be mindful of the imperfective and perfective forms, which are verb aspects that indicate whether an action is ongoing or has already been completed. For example, the word dog is feminine, собака, and the word cat is masculine, кот. If you want to say, I love my dog and I love my cat, you'll have to use different endings for the nouns. Я люблю свою собаку, but я люблю своего кота, respectively. You can see that even the pronoun my, свой, will change for these sentences because of the animals' genders. But there are many things about learning Russian that are easier than you think. Here are a couple of other facts about Russian that you will like. First, there are not many exceptions or special cases, such as irregular verbs or strange spellings. Also, there's no strict word order in Russian. And even if you're not familiar with Russian grammar, you can put the words in the sentence in almost any order, and a native Russian speaker should be able to understand you. So Russian, just like any other language, has its own difficulties. But if you give it time and dedication, you should be well on your way to getting where you want to be. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. До встречи! See you soon! Hi everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for today is, what's palatalization in Russian? And what's the difference between a soft sign and a hard sign? First off, what's palatalization? I know it sounds complicated, but most Russians know it simply as the softening of consonants. Palatalization is basically a way of pronouncing certain consonants when you move your tongue from the back of your teeth to the center of the roof of your mouth, the palate, and that move will soften your consonants. You can hear that softening in the English word new, for example. Let's do some examples so that you could understand the notion of consonant softening. In English, the hard pronunciation of the sound n is heard in the word nook. When you pronounce the word nook, the tip of your tongue is right behind your upper teeth. In the word new, the sound n is palatalized or softened, and that means that the tongue is lying flatly in the middle of the roof of your mouth. In Russian, palatalization or softness can be achieved by 2 means. First, you can palatalize your consonants by the vowels that follow them. In Russian, there are 10 vowels that come in hard and soft pairs. A, ya, I, O, yo, E, ye, U, you. So the soft vowels are ya, I, you, yo, ye, and the hard vowels are a, I, U, O, E. So, if a consonant is followed by one of the soft vowels, it's considered palatalized. Let's take, for example, the Russian name Katya. In this name, the sound K is hard and not palatalized because it's followed by the hard vowel R. However, T is soft and palatalized because it's followed by the counterpart of the sound R, Ya, Katya. The second case, when you can hear a palatalized consonant, is when it's followed by a soft sign. A soft sign is a letter without its own pronunciation. What this letter does is it softens or palatalizes the sound preceding it. Let's compare two words, mel, chalk, and mel, sandbar or shoal. Can you hear the softened l at the end of the mel? That's what the soft sign does. Now, if there's a soft sign, there also must be a hard sign, right? In Russian, a hard sign doesn't have its own pronunciation either. What hard sound does, it separates a consonant and a soft vowel in a word. For example, let's take the word отъели. They ate something. If we didn't have a hard sign between the sounds t and ye, we would end up with the word отели, which sounds different and means hotels. Well, how was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions to ask me? Leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. До встречи! See you soon! Hi everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for this lesson is, what is verb conjugation and what to consider when conjugating a verb? Verb conjugation is a change in the form of the verb depending on the number and person. Just like in English, there are 3 grammatical persons in Russian. For singular, they are я, I, ты, you, он, она, оно, he, she, it. For plural, they are мы, we, вы, you, они, they. So, to conjugate a verb, you need to change their personal ending. For example, я люблю читать. I like to read. Он читает. He reads. Дети читают. The children are reading. If we know how to conjugate the verb, we can avoid spelling mistakes, which are common in the unstressed personal endings of the verbs. For example, the verb читаете. You are reading. Which is the right vowel to put here? Ye or e? In rapid speech, ye and e in the unstressed position sound the same. But if you know the right conjugation of the verb читать, you wouldn't hesitate. Ye is the right vowel to put here. Читаете. In Russian, there are 2 conjugations. The vowel ye is mostly used in the endings of the first conjugation verbs. The vowel e is mostly used in the endings of the second conjugation verbs. Let's explore the typical endings of the first conjugation verbs. First person singular, у, you. Second person singular, ешь, ешь. Third person singular, ед, ет. First person plural, ем, ем. Second person plural, ете, ете. Third person plural, ут, ют. Now let's take a look at the typical endings of the second conjugation verbs. First person singular, у, you. Second person singular, иш. Third person singular, it. First person plural, им. Second person plural, ите. Third person plural, at, ят. Let's conjugate the verb читать, meaning to read, which is a first conjugation verb in Russian. Я читаю, I'm reading. Ты читаешь, you are reading. Он читает, he is reading. Мы читаем, we are reading. Вы читаете, you are reading. Они читают, they are reading. So the pattern here is to remove the ending t From the infinitive form of the verb you'll find in a dictionary and add the appropriate ending of the first conjugation. The infinitives of the first conjugation verbs usually end in ать, ять, оть, еть, уть, and so on. Let's move to the second conjugation verbs and conjugate the verb учить, which means to teach, to learn, or to study. Я учу, I teach. Ты учишь, you teach. Он учит, he teaches. Мы учим, we teach. Вы учите, you teach. Они учат, they teach. The pattern here is once again to remove the ending it from the infinitive form of the verb and add the appropriate ending of the second conjugation to the remaining base uch. Most verbs ending in it are the second conjugation verbs. There are a few exceptions, such as the verbs брить, to shave, and слышать, to hear. Now you can easily conjugate the verbs by looking up their infinitive forms in the dictionary and making changes to the endings. The verbs in different aspects and moods conjugate in the same way. For example, if you come across the verb прочитаете, you shouldn't be confused by the prefix про in front of the verb читаете. You should just look up the infinitive form of the verb прочитать and conjugate it in the same way you would conjugate the verb читать. The trick's done. Conjugating verbs may seem difficult, but starting practicing with the basic verbs will certainly make you proficient and confident in a short time. Pretty interesting, right? If you have more questions, leave them in the comments below. До встречи! See you soon!
Want to get cheat sheets, audiobooks, lessons, apps, and much more every month for free? Just click the link in the description to get your free language gifts of the month.
You've decided to study a new language, so now what? Well, you want to become fluent fast, right? Here are the top 5 shortcuts to learning a language. Number 1. Create a study schedule and set some goals. Many language learners are unorganized. Creating a schedule allows you to free up time to study consistently. Goals give you motivation and something to strive for. Number 2. Make it fun. If you learn how to make your study time enjoyable, chances are you'll be more inclined to study. Watch a TV show with subtitles or listen to some music. Number 3. Find a language partner. This is the best way to improve your conversation skills. It will help you gain fluency even faster and increase confidence when speaking. Number 4. Use word lists to build up a solid vocabulary. This is a great way to build up your fluency, one word at a time. Luckily, we have all the word lists you need, with a range of topics, from food to love. Choose whichever language you want to study and go! Number 5. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Nothing helps you improve more than correcting your own errors. You're more likely to remember it correctly the next time around. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't be afraid to learn from them. There's no magical way to learn a new language overnight, but doing all of these can really help your learning process. And remember, if you're interested in getting on the fast track to fluency, sign up for your free lifetime account. No credit card required, and you'll get the best free online resources. Start learning now.
Hi everyone, this is me, Katusha, with you and RussianPod101.com. So today we're going to be talking about 10 ways how to remember words. So my 10 suggestions to you how to deal with Russian and make it easier to remember Russian words. Prepare yourself. It's not going to be easy to repeat these sentences because they're a little bit big, but I will help you to deal with it. So let's begin. Читая как можно больше, особенно газеты, я запоминаю слова. Reading as much as possible, especially newspapers, helps me to remember words. You know, they say if you can read a newspaper of the language you're learning, it means you're getting closer to being native level. So if you can understand just a little bit, because the reading newspaper is much harder than reading any other literature. So newspapers could actually help you deepen your knowledge of the language you're trying to learn. Я говорю как можно чаще с носителями языка. I speak as often as possible with native speakers. I talk to myself in a mirror. Maybe find some coffee conversations with like a language exchange with someone. So you can meet native speakers of the language, like in our case is Russian. Я изучаю корни слов и как различные слова связаны друг с другом. I learn about the roots of words and how different words are connected to each other. It may help you to understand where the word is coming from, and sometimes we have one word that could be the main for creating another word. So, of course, it could be easier for you. And especially we have many words from other languages, and so knowing those words could also help you speak Russian more fluent. Я произношу слова вслух, чтобы я мог их услышать. I say words out loud so I could hear myself. For example, when you hear me speaking, if you put me on a pause and try to repeat after me and say it out loud, you can see the difference as you say it and I say it, so it makes you closer to the native pronunciation. So please try that, even if it looks ridiculous and you're staring at yourself in the mirror. Я слушаю песни и запоминаю слова. I listen to songs and I memorize lyrics. Yes, it's one an easy way to learn traditional like song. First of all, you learn culture of the language you're learning, because in songs there are a lot of things what people of that country are thinking about and they want to say out loud to the world, right? So memorizing songs is a very great idea. Я стараюсь думать на русском языке, чтобы это стало естественной частью моего мыслительного процесса. I try to think in Russian so it becomes natural to my thought process. In Russian it sounded really long. I'm sorry, guys. So, of course, this is how you know your language is getting better, because you actually start thinking in your not native language. So, if you start thinking to yourself in Russian, congratulations! You're going great. Я упорно практикуюсь каждый день, разговаривая со своей семьей и собаками, даже несмотря на то, что они меня не понимают. I am persistent in practicing every day by talking to my family and my dogs, even though they don't understand me. Okay, I know this is a crazy idea. And you can get a crazy reaction from your family and from your dogs. So yeah, be ready to see very funny faces, very surprised reactions. But if it helps you practice your language, why not? Я использую метод повторения. Читаю, пишу и произношу слова снова и снова. I use repetition method, reading, writing, and speaking words again and again. Of course, if you want to work on your pronunciation, you can do that, but if you write it down, better write down in the combination of other words or like a sentence, so it helps you to understand this word inside the context, so it will be easier for you to remember it. Otherwise, if you just write down one word or say one word out loud, it's not going to connect it with anything else, so you could just easily forget it, I think. So better use it with some other words or expressions or just sentences. Я пытаюсь использовать новое слово в простом предложении, поэтому я учу целые фразы, а не только слова. I try to use a new word in a simple sentence, so I learn whole phrases, not just individual words. This is what I just mentioned in a previous example, I think. So yes, try learning as a whole phrase instead of just a word. It will help you definitely. Я стараюсь использовать язык регулярно в повседневной жизни. I try to use the language regularly in daily life. Yeah, so try from hello, from how are you, как дела, привет, хорошо, я тоже, а ты, and you. So you can keep saying same things and then you will see how naturally it goes out by itself. So it was 10 ways to remember words, and me, Katusha, trying hard to help you and remember Russian words. So stick to our advice and don't forget to subscribe.
Hello and welcome to Ask a Teacher. My name's Lina and here we'll talk about the most common questions you have about the Russian language. And today's question is, what's the Russian alphabet called and where does it come from? Russian uses a writing system called Cyrillic script. Besides Russia, Cyrillic script is used in parts of Europe and Central Asia, although each country has its own modified Cyrillic script. There are 33 letters in the Russian alphabet, 10 vowels, 21 consonants, and 2 other signs, which don't have a sound on their own. What those 2 other signs do is they modify the consonant sound that comes before them. So there's a hard sign and a soft sign. Cyrillic script got its name from the Byzantine missionary Saint Cyril. He and his brother Methodius created the older Glagolitic alphabet. Cyrillic script was used together with the literary Old Church Slavonic language. Its early writings date back to the 9th century. In the 18th century, Peter the Great revised the Cyrillic script. He created new standardized letter forms, which were closely modeled on the Western Latin letter forms. Later on, Russian alphabet underwent a few other reforms, and 2 of them happened quite recently, in the 20th century. It's worth mentioning that the Russian you see in newspapers and on TV is not quite the same Russian you'll see written with pen and paper. This is because Russian people often write in cursive, and just like English cursive letters may look somewhat very different from print, so do Russian letters. Keep that in mind if you see something written down that looks quite unfamiliar to you. So how was it? Pretty interesting, right? I wonder if you have more questions to ask me. Do leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. До встречи! See you soon! Hi everyone and welcome to Ask a Teacher. I'm Lina and I'm here to answer the most common questions you send us about the Russian language. And the question for today is, what are the differences between Russian and English sentence structures? The most obvious difference between Russian and English sentence structure is word order. English has a fixed order of subject, verb, and object. Russian is a lot more flexible. In Russian, you can place an object both before and after the verb. Take the sentence I don't know him. Я не знаю его. Here, его, him, is an object. It can be placed before the verb Я его не знаю, after the verb Я не знаю его, and even in the very beginning of the sentence Его я не знаю. All these sentences would be perfectly grammatically correct and would mean one and the same thing. At first, it may seem simple and even convenient to be able to switch the words around. However, the reason Russian sentences make sense, no matter how you shuffle the words around, is that the words themselves carry a lot of grammar nuances. If you need to convey a grammar nuance, you make a change to the word, not the whole structure. And this change can be made with the help of suffixes, prefixes, or endings. Almost all Russian words can be changed. Let's see how Russian nouns can be changed. Russian nouns decline depending on 6 grammar cases. You decline a noun when you need to change it from its initial or nominative form to some other form. For example, the word палочки, chopsticks, is an initial form. It can be used in a sentence like this. Вот мои палочки. Here are my chopsticks. To say that you eat sushi with chopsticks, you change the word палочки into палочками. I eat sushi with chopsticks. Я ем суши палочками. So you take out the ending «и» and replace it with the ending «ами». Палочки – палочками. Палочками is an instrumental case of the word палочки. As you can see, the change is made with the help of an ending, not with the help of preposition, as in English. Nouns can also change according to gender, masculine, feminine or neuter, and according to number, singular or plural. Adjectives and some pronouns can undergo the same changes as nouns. But don't you be scared. In some ways, Russian is even easier than English. First, there are no articles in Russian, as opposed to English, and some other languages like Spanish or French, which even have gender articles. Secondly, there are only 3 verb tenses in Russian, a lot fewer than English has. In English, in the present tense, for an action that happens regularly, you'd say, I play basketball. And for an action that is happening right this moment, you'd say, I am playing basketball. In Russian, instead of these 2 structures, you only need to use one. Я играю в баскетбол. And then you can specify. Я играю в баскетбол каждый день. I play basketball every day. И я играю в баскетбол сейчас. I'm playing basketball right now. Another thing that makes learning Russian is just a bit easier is that there are no auxiliary verbs in Russian. Words like do, have or be. Of course, we do have all these basic words in Russian. The thing is that they don't act like auxiliaries in the sentences. In English, if you need to make a negative out of a statement, you need to carefully choose the right form of the auxiliary verb, do, for example, and make changes to the word order. So, he liked ice cream in its negative form becomes he didn't like ice cream. We like ice cream becomes we don't like ice cream. And the baby likes ice cream becomes the baby doesn't like ice cream, and so on. In Russian, all you need to do is use one and the same word не, which can be translated into English as not. This word не can be placed in front of any word in the sentence, and that alone will make the sentence negative. So, он любил мороженое. He liked ice cream. Он не любил мороженое. He didn't like ice cream. Мы любим мороженое. We like ice cream. Мы не любим мороженое. We don't like ice cream. Ребенок любит мороженое. The baby likes ice cream. Ребенок не любит мороженое. The baby doesn't like ice cream. Easy. Lastly, just like with negatives, to turn a statement into a question, in English, you need to change the entire structure. In Russian, all you need to change is intonation. So in English, you are going to work tomorrow becomes are you going to work tomorrow? In Russian, you don't have to move the words around. All you need to do is change your intonation and the statement becomes a question. Like this. Ты идешь на работу завтра. You are going to work tomorrow. Ты идешь на работу завтра? Are you going to work tomorrow? So how was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do send me some more questions about the Russian language usage, and I'll be happy to answer them. До встречи! See you soon! Hi everyone! Lina's here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, a place where you'll get answers to your most common Russian questions. The question for today is, can you tell us about the Russian language and where it's spoken? Sure, I can. I'm glad people ask this question before they start learning Russian. It's good to have understanding of what you're learning before jumping straight into memorizing words and phrases. Russian is an East Slavic language with over 250 million native speakers around the world. Let me give you a brief introduction of the history of the Russian language. Russian is pretty old. It goes back to around 1st, 2nd centuries BC and comes from a combination of dialects from the Indo-European language family. The first origins of Russian come from Russia's literary language, Old Slavonic. Around the same time, the 1st-2nd centuries BC, the first Slavic alphabet was created by two Greek missionaries and philologists, Cyril and his brother Methodius. Later that language was split into Russian, Ukrainian and Belarusian, which you can hear spoken today. Later, in the 17th, 18th centuries, Peter the Great played a big role in the formation of the modern-day Russian by combining its Slavic written language with Russian everyday spoken language. Russian is not only the official language of Russia, but also of many other post-Soviet countries, such as Belarus, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. It's also widely spoken in the Ukraine, Moldova, the Baltic states, and many other former Soviet Union countries. As you can see, learning Russian doesn't limit you to Russia only. It opens up new opportunities to speak to other people from many different countries. Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them. До встречи! See you soon!